Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another Sunday Live where we do a 20 question mock test and answer your questions about theory test, driving lessons, and we do a hazard perception as well at the end. So let me just get my windows all set up. Hopefully you guys had a good week so far. Right, so good morning, everybody. Welcome. I can hear myself in the background. I'll just turn that down. Right, Cheatex, hopefully I'm saying that correct. Good morning, not seen your name before, so welcome to you. Get this centered. Aman, good morning to you. Mr. West is my dad. But good morning. Charmaine. First of all, good morning, Charmaine. You're definitely new here, so welcome. Starting your journey. I recommend the Driving Test Success app. Let me just come out of this one, go into this one. I recommend the Driving Test Success app, otherwise known as the 4-in-1, and go for the paid version, which is, I think it's still $4.99. Going back one. If you are having a problem retaining information, that's not going to be the apps. It doesn't make a difference what app you use. That's a personal issue. I would suggest, if you're having problem retaining information, is do it in small bite-sized chunks. So probably do 10 to 15 minutes when you study rather than half hour, 45 minutes, hour. Because if you're not retaining information beyond 15, 20 minutes, you're not going to retain it. So it's no point doing an hour at a time. But what I would explore, if you was my student, I would go deeper with you and explore why you're not retaining information. Because if you're not retaining information, you are going to struggle to pass the theory test, because you need to retain it, understand it to retain it. So that's what I would explore, but that sounds like a learning issue, a bit deeper than you. It may not be directly a learning issue, but it's something deeper. So that's what I would explore. Hannah, welcome to you. Fifi, welcome. Yes, I've had a great week, to be fair. Driving lessons wise, and had the good people this week. Started off slow, but she got into it in the end. Had a good session towards the week, and the boot camp was brilliant. Had a lot of students in there this week, and a lot of success. So it was brilliant. Been a brilliant week. Passed your theory test. Well done. Congratulations. 45 and 51. Listen, you passed the hazard perception. Be proud. Do you know what I mean? You need 44 to pass it. Passing the theory test. Pat yourself on the back first, and then look for improvements later on. But you passed it, so well done to you. And first attempt off to church. Have a good service. But thank you for coming on before we going to church and letting me know how you got on. Good luck with the driving when that comes. Diego, good morning to you. Failed the theory. Okay, so you got 41. That's 9 questions wrong. It's about 5 to 6 categories wrong. 69 has perception sorted. 69 out of 75, brilliant. But has the question was that's about 6 categories. If you've got 9 questions wrong, give or take. What I would suggest you do is look at the paperwork, look at the categories, that's your baseline, and restudy those categories and then go from there. Kanye, good morning to you. I've not seen your name before, so welcome to you. Naomi, good morning. Again, not seen your name, welcome to you. Cute Blink, good morning. Jackie Trading, good morning. Oh, you passed your theory test as well. Congratulations. 48 out of 50. That's 2 below the magical 50, but well done. 54 has perception. Well done. Congratulations on passing. Good morning, Cherry. Good morning. I've not seen your name before. Pyro Sky TV. Linda, good morning. All right. Errol TV, good morning to you. Right, let me do a quick overview, first and foremost, of the theory test. Good morning, Caroline. Good morning. Caroline's got a test on Tuesday. Any final words? Yeah, sorry, I'm just jumping ahead and reading the message underneath. Yeah, when you go, let me do the overview first, and I'll come back to that, Caroline. Let me just do this first because I'm gonna repeat myself otherwise. Right, so don't know what come out of that. I don't know where to go back to new live. I need to do my screen. Okay, going blank at the moment. Right, Very Test is multiple choices, 50 questions. Out of 50 questions, you need 44 out of 50. They've got a database of 1,200 to 1,500 questions to choose from, where on your app is 770 odd questions. This is why I recommend you do the categories one by one so you're exposed to all the questions on the app, because when you go for the real test, it's going to be different questions, worded slightly differently. It's going to be questions that you've never seen before, but it still leads to the same outcome, which will be safety, which we'll discuss later on. It is random and there's sampled questions on the app. I keep saying this every week and I'm still getting emails to say, I failed my theory test when I went in there, questions were different. Yes, they're going to be different. The apps do not tell you. It even says on the apps that there's sample questions, not the real question, but you guys missed that bit. So there's sampled questions. You need to understand the question, understand the answers and what they're asking for. The amount of time that you have to do the test is 57 minutes, which is more than enough time. So go in there, take your time, read the question. This is for Caroline. This is what I'm talking about. I didn't want to repeat myself. So when you go in there, read the questions very carefully. Read all the answers very carefully, because sometimes there's clues in the questions, there's clues in the answers, so it can help you out. But you need to be calm enough to understand what the clues are and not skip past it. So that's what I suggest you do. Take your time, use it wisely. Once you finish the 50th question, you move on to the hazard perception, which is 14 videos. 13 of them have single hazards, one of them's got a double. You need 44 out of 75 to pass that side of things. Your average on score wise when it's finished needs to be 3 or more. If it's less than 3, it's going to be a fail. And what you're looking for in terms of answers is a safety. The outcome has to lead to safety. That's why I said read the questions carefully, read the answers, because sometimes there's clues in either one of them. Sometimes there's clues in both of them. There's a link. If it doesn't lead to safety, it's going to be a controlled outcome, which is normally your first 8 questions and or motorway questions. So that's what you're looking for. In terms of when you go in there, Caroline, if you arrive early, you can go in there nice and early. So let's just say, for example, your test was at 11 o'clock on Tuesday and you arrive at 10:30. You don't have to sit outside pacing up and down, stressing. You can go in there, introduce yourself and let them know that you're early. If they've got a space to get you in, they will get you in, because as soon as someone leaves, because no one takes the full hour and a half, that's how long the test lasts for. So if they've got a seat, they'll get you in nice and early, so you don't have to be stressing outside. I would suggest when you go in, take deep breaths if you feel stress and anxiety. The brain needs to breathe if it does feel that way. Otherwise, you're trying to find the correct answer while you're stressed out, and the brain's just going to pick any answer. That's just the way the brain works. So if you feel stressed, literally just take a step back in your sit back in your seat, take deep breaths and go again. Because as I said, 57 minutes is more than enough time. If you don't know what the answer is, flag it, move on. And then when you get to the 50th question, it's going to ask you, do you want to review your flagged questions? Then obviously you're going to say yes. Go back to your flagged ones. If you still don't know what the answer is, work backwards. Don't go looking for the correct answer. Go looking for the answers that it can't be. Because remember, you're looking for safety. Some of the answers, there's always one stupid answer on it anyway. So you get rid of the stupid one. You now got 1 in 3 chance to be correct rather than 1 in 4. Sometimes there's 2 stupid answers. Sometimes there's even 3. And by default, you're left with the correct answer. So you, rather than working forwards, 1 in 4, work backwards. The minimum, you're going to have 1 in 3 chance of being correct. That's how you want to do it. So that's my advice for you on day Tuesday. Hopefully it goes all well and good luck with it. Please come back next Sunday and let us know how you got on. Canny. Yeah, Canny, I think you sent me. Sorry, let me just get rid of this one. I think you sent me a WhatsApp message to say you pass. I get so many WhatsApp. What you should have done, congratulations, by the way. Should have said that first. What you should have done, because you was from the boot camp, send an email to support and I would have seen it. I would have responded straight away. I've just literally had no time to respond to your WhatsApp message, but congratulations on passing, because I know you have put the work in and you had your support of your boyfriend all the way through it. So congrats on that one. Well, what I'm going to do is start the 20 questions, because you guys are all, there's over 70 of you already here. We're not even 10:15 yet. So thank you for turning up on a Sunday morning. Stella, good morning. So what I'm going to do is start the 20 question mock test. And as we're going through, I will keep looking at your comments and put them up on screen where possible. What I will suggest, if you've got a question, please put a Q semicolon. Otherwise, it looks like I've missed it. And it's not deliberate because it just looks like a comment. But if you put a Q semicolon, then type your question, I will get to it at some stage through the live session. So let me share my screen. I've done a quick tech check. I've spoken to Driving Test Success, because last week I had to use the app version, which wasn't very clear because all the desktop version was all about first aid. But I have spoken to them, reset my bits and pieces on my side according to them. So hopefully we get random questions rather than all first aid questions. So for those of you that are new, this is the way. Let me get my cursor up first of all. I don't know why it's not showing. Read the question first. That's what you want to be doing on the real test. Read the questions very carefully. Go through all your options. So what would you expect to find? What would you expect to find at a contraflow system on the motorway? This is A, for those of you that are new. This is B, this is C, and this is D. Please put the question number. So if you think it's 1D, then put 1D. That way I know we're on the same page, same question. Otherwise, you're taking effort to type your answer right. I like to show it, but if it's not got the number, I won't show it, because I don't know if it's relating to the question that we're on. So type away. But remember, if you've got a question, please put a Q semicolon, and I will do my best to answer it. Mary Jane, good morning to you. Got 40 on the first attempt, 56. You've improved on the has perception, you improved on everything. So well done to you. Congratulations. Thank you for taking the time out to come in to the live session. Let me know how you got on. Palm, good morning to you. I am doing well. Hopefully you are too. Hey Doug, good morning. I'm new here, but I always watch your videos. Got 45 out of 50, 54, 75. Congratulations on passing. Thank you again for coming to the live. It's really important that you guys are coming to the live and let me know that you are passing. It's an incentive to keep producing videos to help other people pass. So believe it or not, I do take pleasure and motivation from you guys passing as well. Infinity, good morning to you. That's a booking corridor. Yeah, the dates are getting booked up. It's that time of year, summer. Like I said, the school kids, I won't say school kids, sixth formers, college students are breaking up. And what they want to do is learn to drive during the summer months. So everything gets booked up. Lessons, ferry test, and driving test. Angie, good morning to you. Femi, good morning to you. 46 out of 50, 60 and 75. Well done to you. We're taking my practical test. So taking a practical test soon. Well done. Congrats. Femi, thank you for coming and letting me know. Breaking your silence, because you said you was a silent follower for 2 months. So thank you for breaking your silence. Let me find these ones and I'll keep coming back to you guys' comments. Where's the first one? Q Blink's gone for C. I've got to assume A is correct because most of you have gone for A. Some of you are not typing there. I'm going to put it up on screen because it's the first one, so I know we're on the same page. But if you don't put the letter first, if you don't put the number first, it won't get answered. Marissa, you always coming through the back door. Good morning to you. Right, 1A seems the common answer. Contraflow, motorway. Yeah, it's going to be lower speeds because you're on the wrong side of the road. Contra means going against the flow of traffic, just in case you didn't know. What should you do if you see a large box fall from a lorry on the motorway? How similar is the hazard perception in the app to the actual thing? It's the same. It's exactly the same, except on the app, it is a combination of CGI and real life clips. The real life clips aren't that clear. When you go for the real tests, they're all CGIs, so they're crystal clear. And obviously, you're doing it on a bigger screen, especially if you're doing it on your phone on the app version. So you do it on the bigger screen, so it's a lot easier to see. And based on the feedback from my students, the real test is slightly slower than the app version, so it's slightly easier on the real version, but it's the same. But it's not about whether it's how similar it is. It's about whether or not you see the hazards or not. It could be exactly the same, but if you're getting zeros on the app at home, you're probably going to get zeros on the real test. So it's not even about being the same. That's not the way you should be thinking. You should be thinking, am I hitting my 5s and 4s? Do I know what a hazard is so I know when to click? If that's the case, you take that anywhere, because when you go for your driving lessons, it's the same thing. Just in case you didn't know, because you're asking the question about is it similar. When you take your driving test or driving lessons, that click on the hazard perception represents you checking the mirrors. So you'll be doing it in real life. So you see a problem, you click, but you're checking the mirrors. And ideally, you want to check your mirrors nice and early on your driving test. That's your 5s and your 4s. So it's not about whether it's the same or similar. It's whether or not you understand what hazards are and getting 5s and 4s. 2. Yolanda, good morning to you. So you guys are all going for C on this one. But Daniels, good morning to you. Welcome. Thanks for your unwavering support. You guys have got my support all the way through. Trust me on that. As long as you guys keep turning up on a live, because at the end of the day, if no one turns up, no one watched the channel, then there's no point in me doing the videos. That's why I say it's nice that you guys are here on a Sunday morning and commenting on the videos. I do read the comments, believe it or not. I just can't answer all of them because there's just so many. You guys have gone for C, I believe. Large box. Yeah, report it. What does the white, don't say white, what does the solid white line at the side of the road indicate? Jossie, I'm here to say thank you. Congratulations on passing. Again, appreciate the turning up and let me know how you got on. I'm not alone because God is always with me. That's nice to know. Good morning, sir. The answer is C. Good morning to you. I'm assuming that was the previous question, not this question. Sorry, there's a couple of things I need to answer. I've done that one. Again, please put a Q semicolon because I almost missed this. Micah, do you think? Do you think I can pass if I never driven and start revising now? That's an open question. Because it's you're asking, do I think you can pass if you've never driven before? Yes, you can pass without driving. A lot of students do, and start revising now. Yeah, you can start revising now. Take your test next year. Do you know what I mean? That's an open question. Obviously, if you've never driven before and start revising, you can pass at any point. It's just a case of when are you going to pass? Are you going to pass 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now, 4 months from now? Like I said, study now for 6 months and pass next year? The answer to the question is yes, but it's open. Now, if you want to break it down and say, am I going to pass next week? That's a different story. But yeah, to answer your question, the way you've asked it, yeah, you can pass without driving. And yeah, once you start revising, as long as it's quality revision, and what I mean by quality, structured revision, yeah, of course you can pass. What are we on? 3? Some of you got 2s coming through at this point. Sunday chores, I'm back. I had to clean my room quicker. Loving that. Hello, welcome. Yeah, I've got 2s coming through. Some of your internet's really behind. That's the reason why I asked you to put the question number. Nicholas has changed his answer to C. All right, it looks like A is the common one. Edge of the carriageway. Let me just quickly show you this. For some reason, students, they're talking about the line at the side of the road. They're talking about that master edge of the carriageway. For some reason, when this question is asked, they get wrong. They think it's this one they're talking about, but it's that one. Master edge of the carriageway, which means from there to the other white line on the other side is where you should be driving. So master edge of the carriageway. So you drive on the carriageway. So it is A. You're in a built-up area at night and the road is well lit. Why should you use dipped headlights? Chad, welcome. 40, oh, you passed it. Well done to you. Congrats. 47 out of 50. 67 has a perception. That's brilliant. Out of 75. Got my first practical mock test in 2 months. So you're driving at the same time you're learning. Well done to you. Congrats. And practical in January or December. Chad, well done to you. I know you've been here for quite a few weeks and putting in the work and effort in. So congratulations on passing. And this is why I suggest as well that you try to, if you can do it, study and do the driving at the same time, because now where Chad has passed his theory test, he's in a position to book a driving test because you need those numbers of the theory test. So he's literally down the road. So he's got a plan. His instructors already put in place, mock tests in a couple of months, and hopefully his test at the end of the year or early next year, which is a nice New Year's present. But congratulations, Chad. Please keep coming back every so often. Update me on your driving. Let me know you get that license. That's great to hear. Alim came to say thank you. I passed my theory test. Congratulations. And again, I appreciate you guys turning up and let me know that you have passed. We're going for C. Yeah, you always use your lights to see and to be seen. So if the question comes up, why do you turn your lights on? It's the seen to be seen. There's no other reason to turn your lights on. What part of the car does the law require you to keep in good condition? I'm going to go back. I think I've missed some of your hellos. Charmaine, thank you. I have paid app. I think joining your online program could be helpful. Yeah, it's definitely going to be helpful because it's structured. It gives you all the information you need. You also got email support and there's extra training in the boot camp. And you're with like-minded people as well. So you realize that you're not alone and feel stupid, because some of the questions that some of the students ask, other students realize, hold on, that's the way I am, that's the way I feel, blah blah blah. And we had the student in there, funny enough, Marianne, she was in the boot camp. She took a test on Thursday. She kept it quiet because she didn't tell me that she had it on Thursday, and came into the boot camp on Friday and showed her experience, told the students exactly what I've been saying. All the things that came up in the boot camp came up in her questions. She read the questions carefully. She shared all of that. And she said the most important thing that I took from that, the questions are worded differently. There were questions that she never saw before, but she used the skill from the boot camp to apply, and obviously got her result that she required. So yeah, it's worth doing it if you kind of struggle or find that you find it hard to struggle. You find it hard to study on your own, because like I said, it's a group environment. It's a safe environment because it's online on Zoom. And Hannah's got hers on Tuesday. I never received my license the first time, but in order to receive it next time, would I need to wait again? I'm not sure why you didn't receive it in the first time. Was that a post issue? Was that DVSA issue? But the answer is going to be yes. There's nothing you can do because you can't go and pick it up. So whatever happens, you're going to have to wait for it to come through. But I don't know why you waited for the first time. What was the delay from the first time? Abel failed his test. Got 8 questions wrong. Again, to look at the categories and go from there. You got data now, so you've got 8 questions wrong. So I would definitely, that has perception sorted, so don't worry about has perception, but I would definitely look at the categories of the questions you got wrong and then go from there. If you're preparing for the theory, please watch all Mr. Doran's videos from category to category. Watch all the live mock tests, apply all these rules. Trust me, your past rules. There you go. So there's someone saying, I don't know why I took that off. Watch the videos. Like with the videos and what I'm saying, you do have to adapt it. I'm just saying what I teach and what you do. Similar to what I do in the car. I show pupils how to be safe. I have to give them the basics because they've got no driving experience. So I've got to give them something to work from. And then they adapt it to their style, to their character. For example, the pupil I had on this week as the driving course, she was very indecisive. That's her character. She couldn't make decisions. So I trained her to make a decision. The worst thing with driving is not making a decision, because if you don't know what you're doing, the people outside the car don't know what you're going to do. So it's the same thing with the theory. I teach you guys how to get the right answer. You now need to adapt it. Whether you're going to go through the flagged method, which I mentioned, whether you're going to take time out and read the questions very carefully, read the answers carefully, and choose your answer, but don't flag it. So adapt it to your style. Don't go in there and say, Doran said do this, and it doesn't fit your style of learning. Again, I say use apps. And the reason why I would use apps, because one, it's visual. I'm a visual person, and it's got images on there. With that, if I had to read the book to do the theory test, I would struggle because I've got dyslexia, and having a lot of words without it being broken up is very difficult for me. So even that's why I read some of your comments. I'm struggling to read your comments because there's lots of words on there and I've got to try to decipher that. I prefer to have visual, and apps give you that. So you have to adapt it. So as much as Mary Jane is saying, well, listen, I appreciate it, but she's not wrong, don't get me wrong. But you do have to adapt it rather than Dorian said, do this and stick to it like it's gospel. Number 5, let me find the 5s. Because learning isn't one style. Everybody learns differently. So I'm just trying to find the 5s. I just saw walk with Santi. I saw Santa there. Walk with Santa. By the way, you didn't put the number of the question that you've answered. You just put C. I don't know what that's related to. Again, most of you have gone for C, so I've got to assume the majority is correct. Oh, a lot of you are typing out here. So let me try and put as much as I can on the screen. Right, it is. I think that's the last one on there. C. Seatbelt, yeah, that's law because it's going to keep you safe in an accident, or safer in an accident. You are turning right into a dual carriageway. What should you do before emerging? So again, always with the again, this is for you guys got a test, especially Caroline if she's still here. With images, I would always take a look at the image because sometimes there's clues in the image as well that can help you out. So always read the question, really take in the info, and then go looking for your answer or answer, yeah. And I used your techniques at my last test for the hazard perception back then. That's the only thing I will say stick to. Go for a 2-click method. Adapt it. Like I said, if I have to go for 3 clicks because I thought I've messed up, I will go for 3 clicks. But that's the one thing I would stick to because that works with the questions. Like I said, because it's words, you have to adapt it to your learning style with that. But the hazard perception, I wouldn't change that 2-click method. I have my test on 29th of July, it's the end of the month. Can you help me? I have no confidence. There's no way I'm going to be able to help you over the live session or watching the videos. The only thing I would suggest you do is, again, watch the video. There's a playlist. Study with me and practice makes you better. That gives you a start with that. That's what I would suggest you do. Go through the apps, break it down into the categories. And then it will start to grow your confidence when you see your score gets better. But there's no way that I'm going to be able to help you because I don't know you. When I help somebody, obviously, I won't say it's one-on-one. Again, through the boot camp is what I do it. I work on the mindset because I hear where you speak. I hear the questions you ask. I see the answers you give in the boot camp. And it gives me an insight to how your mind's working. And that's how I can help you out with that on the boot camp. Because, again, in the boot camp, we had someone, Alec, he's got his test on Monday or the 7th, which is Monday, tomorrow. He was picking the wrong answers. First thing I noticed with he's picking at the answers, he's going too quick. He's answering it way too quick. And when we had a discussion, he's had 2 theory tests previously, failed twice previously because he took it in 15, 20 minutes. And the question was, there's his downfall. It's not because he didn't know the answers, it's because he was rushing. So he didn't read the questions properly. Everybody's individual. And it's not always because you don't know the answer. It's because of how your mind works. That's why I say you have to do the theory test around how your mind, how your learning works. So I'm not going to be able to help you over the live sessions. I'm not going to be able to help you via videos because I don't know who you are. But if we was talking, then I can definitely help you out because, like I said, there's certain things you'll say that will make me aware of what you're thinking, how you're thinking. I can change that mindset. If you really want help, I suggest you do the boot camp. That's the best way that I'm going to help you with that. Number 6. Some of you still not putting the question number, so I don't know what that's related to. So you've got to, like how Hannah's done it here, 6A. If you want to take part, or you want your name to come up on screen, 'cause I want to give you your props because you're typing it out. Put the question number. This is what I'm talking about. I'm not going to put it up. Salma, welcome to you, first of all. I got 5C from her. So that's what I'm saying. Some of your internet connection is behind. That's the reason why I need the question number to make sure we're all on the same page. Right. There she goes. So Salma's just come through with the 6A. But like I said, I just had her 5C come through. Right, 6A. Yeah, if you look at the image, this is what I was talking about, looking at the image. If I get, where is it? Let's use this one. So if you look at the image, it says you're turning right onto a dual carriageway, which you do before merging, and it's got it here. Check with central reservation is wide enough for your vehicle. So if you look here, it's not wide enough for your vehicle. It's narrow. So you check for both ways to be clear at the same time. So sometimes there's clues in the image. But just in case you guys didn't know, that's what they're talking about when they say central reservation, the bit in the middle. I can't change it until I get rid of this. You're driving on a road with several lanes. What do these signs above the lanes mean? Again, look at the image. There's lots of clues on that one. All right, let me go through some of these comments that I've saved just to help out. Chad's, you're welcome. You are more than welcome. Nana, thank you. 67 on the first attempt. Congratulations, Nana, on passing. And again, I appreciate that you coming to let me know. Joe, welcome to you. Got your driving test booked for the 10th of December, so you're good to go. All you got to do now is get your standard up for that driving test. I wish you luck with that, just in case we don't see each other. But yeah, keep popping in, saying hello. And then in December, come and let me know how you got on. And hopefully, fingers crossed, that's a nice early Christmas present for you. Yankee, Engyanka, my fare expired. Try and do it on a tablet if you can, because your test is tomorrow. Try and get a tablet, access to a tablet, and try and do it on that. So you get as used to a bigger screen. But like I said, on the real test is a bigger screen. It's easier to see, and the hazards a bit more clear with that. So I wish you luck with that tomorrow. Again, please come back next week and let us know how you got on. I'm not passed 2 times. I'm assuming that's meant to be 2 as in the number. I got 42, so 8 questions wrong. Hazard, it's easy. Always pass. Some questions are very difficult. Some questions are difficult. It depends what question you're talking about. Again, it still leads to safety. So I get what you're saying in terms of difficult, but that's probably because you don't know, or you're not understanding what they're asking, hence why it's difficult to answer the question. But you've got data. I'm assuming that you meant 2 times, as in the number 2. So you've taken the theory test twice. So you've got data. So look at the 2 pieces of paperwork and see if there's a common denominator in the categories that you got wrong. If there's no common denominator, that means you've got a lack of knowledge generally. But if it's common denominators, there's your weakness. It's those categories in general. So I would re-study those categories with that. Could it be due to mental health? I don't know. I don't know you, so I don't know what issues you're having with the DVSA. If you have a health issue, the DVSA do drag their feet out with that, because they're not going to issue a license to someone who has a health issue. So if it is a problem, you need to work with them to give them the information they require or access to your doctor's files, and they can speed up that process. But if it's a health issue, that's the reason why they don't move that quick on health issues. All right, let me go back to this and I'll finish the comments. What we're number 7. Yeah, if you have a health issue with the DVSA, trust me, they're not the quickest to respond. I'm not alone because God is always with me. You keep putting the letter, but I'm not knowing what number you're on. So you have to put the number as in 7, 8, if that's what you think it is. I'm getting better at eliminating the nonsense answers. Brilliant. That's the key to learning, because then you're reducing the stress. Because if you're eliminating 1, which is a stupid answer, then you've got 1 in 3 chance of being correct rather than 1 in 4. And that's the other thing, that what some of you guys do. You go straight, right, 7A, that's the last one coming up. Let's do this first. The 2 lanes are open. Again, the clue is in the image. 2 lanes. I mean, that's why I say take in information and see which one. Let's get rid of this. Which one tallies. How would underinflated tires affect your vehicle? Guys, Hannah, guys, so hazard videos are CGI. I don't think they don't have real life videos on there anymore. It's all CGIs. When they had the real life video clips on there, the failure rate was really, really high. Trust me on that. But now it's all CGIs. I mean, the failure rate's still higher than what it should be. But yeah, they're all CGIs on the real test, but you will get a combination of CGIs and real life on your hazard, on your apps. Blessing, good morning to you. I want to say a big thank you. First try. So you passed your test yesterday. Congratulations on passing. And it's the first attempt. Again, thank you for letting me know how you got on. Appreciate that. Please, I saw a question that shows something about a yellow box like you must not and you must. It's a yellow junction box. You must not stop in the yellow. This is the answer. The full answer. You must not stop in the yellow junction box unless you are turning right and you're prevented by oncoming traffic and your exit is clear. I'll say that one more time. You must not stop in a yellow junction box unless you are turning right, prevented by oncoming traffic and your exit is clear. That's the full answer. And what I just said, they can take any snippets of that as the 1 in 4 chances of being correct. So that makes sense. That question makes more sense when you're driving. That's why I say try to do the hazard perception. That's why I say try to do driving lessons alongside your theory training, because you will come across junction box on your driving lessons. I did my test twice last year and still failing my multiple choice, always 32. Let me just read that again. I did my twice last year, 7 months ago, and still failing my multiple questions, always 32. If you're getting 32 after taking 2 tests, the reason why you're getting 32 is because your knowledge is weak and you're not learning from anything. It's either you're trying to memorize answers or there may be a learning disability, but there's no way you should be getting 32 on a regular basis after taking 2 tests. Someone who gets a low score like that, I normally work with them on the mental capacity and try to show them how to work out what the answers and give them a better understanding. You're getting 32 because, like I said, there's a lack of understanding or there may be a learning issue. One of the two, but I can't tell you which because I don't know you. But 32 is a learning issue. You've got to work out what that learning issue is. So let me just catch up with the 8s. If you're going for a test, I know it's not what you guys want to hear for those of you taking tests. If you're going for a test and you're getting 30s, you've got to look at yourself, and I don't mean that in a bad way, because if you're studying for the test, there's no way you should be getting 30s. So it's either you went in there with a lack of understanding, lack of knowledge, or there's a learning problem along the way, or you're trying to memorize the answer. And then when you go in there, because the question's worded differently, the brain doesn't register the connection. That's why you shouldn't memorize answers. So AJK Mafia Gaming, is there any new theory questions added? I heard the rumor, but I think there wasn't any new question added. Yes, first aid questions. There's, I can't remember how many were now. 8 or 9 new first aid questions was added about the defibrillator, and it's called AED for short. which if you're using apps, it will be updated. So what you want to do, if you want to go to those questions directly on the apps, you go to incidents, accidents, and emergencies, and it will come up in that particular section. But yeah, there's new questions added with that one. Or you can go to my channel. About 3 weeks ago, I've done a video with all the questions on there. And again, broke it down so you can understand the questions and answers as well. Rosalind, good morning to you. First time here. Well done for finding the channel. Hopefully you learned something new. I'm still trying to find these 8s. Some of you got 7. Some of you still not typing the question number. So B's a common answer. Tires are flat, underinflated, vehicle stop distance. The vehicle stopping distance would increase. I want to see that. Nope. Nope. No, yeah, all the answers is that one. With this one, sorry, let me just close that down. With this question, the reason why I kind of hesitated, the common answer for this is your engine will work harder. For the real test I'm talking about is the normal answer that your vehicle will work harder. The tires are flat. That's the reason why I was struggling when this came up. But again, process of elimination, that is the common answer or the correct answer out of the 4 choices. But on a real test, it can say your vehicle will work harder. What signal should you give when you're going straight ahead at a roundabout? All right, let's catch up with these comments. April. Passed your theory test, congratulations. 46, 66 has a perception. Why on it? Brilliant. Congratulations on passing, and thank you for letting me know. Well done to you. Valentina. Questions why? You're practicing at home. I don't understand why you're not confident at home to do your hazard perception. I'll do a demonstration at the end anyway, but it's literally just practice, trial and error. You're trying to perfect your skill. So if you're getting it wrong, it's not a bad thing. It's you want to get the stuff wrong at home. So by the time you go for the real test, it is where you want it to be. So don't be afraid to practice and don't feel a lack of confidence doing it. It's trial and error. But I will do a demonstration, show you 2-click method. I would suggest with this, because you said I'm not yet confident on how to tackle hazard perception with the clicks. Do you know what a hazard is? That's where I would start from. Because if you know what a hazard is, the click is easy. So a hazard is going to be anything that's caused you to slow down or change directions, what you're looking at. But I'll explain that if you're going to stick to the end, or you can watch the replay later on. No, there isn't. The app version is in its name, it's app. So you're going to be able to get it on your phone and tablet. I'm using the desktop version, but it's a subscription version, which is a lot more than the app. You pay for the app is $4.99, and it's a one-off payment, where the desktop version, I don't even know what that is because I just pay for it yearly because I use it with my students. So I don't know what it is, but it's a lot more than $4.99. So you got to ask yourself, is it worth it? You can do it. I'm sure you can do it monthly or 3 months at a time. So it's worth going to their website and seeing if it's worth you doing it. But again, if you want to do it, you got to weigh up the cost in terms of what's it worth to you in terms of passing the theory test by doing it on a desktop version, and go from that way. But I'm sure you can do it monthly, but I think I'll just pay mine for the year because it's something I use all the time. But the answer to your question in simple terms, no. You can't get it for $4.99, but yes, you can access it, but it's going to be a lot more. How much more? I don't know. You need to go onto their website. No problem. You are welcome. The reason I'm laughing, because I saw a question about a diamond-shaped speed limit, and they were asking which vehicle uses it. This comes up in the bootcamp a lot. It's called we discussed this on Tuesday when we do road signs. It's called a unique sign, unique shape. Diamond is trams. So it's for a tram. All right, let me catch up with the 9s. You're welcome. There you go. You put your number in. See? Give you credit. I know you're welcome, Anna. Oh, there's a B in there. Uh, 9A also, we always leave on the left on a roundabout in the UK as far as I've learned. You leave on the left where possible, because if a roundabout, if you start off in the right hand lanes, 2 lanes to come off, you come off on the right, but you stay left when possible. Your instructor will teach you to stay left when possible. I'm still getting lots of A's, no 9s in front of it. Again, please put the letter and let me come back to that one. Hello and welcome. Good morning, happy Sunday to you. Right, what was the 9A? Yeah, signal left before leaving the roundabout. There's no signal for straight, so no signal on approach. But as you're coming off the roundabout, signal left. They're talking about a big roundabout, by the way, when they talk about this question, not a mini roundabout, because you do not signal left to come off a mini roundabout because it's too small. What's the purpose of road hump, chicanes and narrowings? In other words, traffic calming measures. On a real test, they can word as traffic calming measures. Still struggling with practical test date. Maybe I will end up by choosing next year, January at the end. I may change it if I've got another date. Whatever date that's on there, pick it. That's what I would suggest. That's what I tell all my students. Whatever, that way you got a date. And plus, if you've got a date, you've got a bargaining tool. If you've got no date, you've got nothing to bargain with. So whatever date's on there, choose it. So for example, you was talking about January. Take January. And then every so often, jump on there. If there's an earlier date, you can change it. If your instructor is part of a community WhatsApp group or lively in their area, they may be able to swap it with another instructor and get an early date for you. But without a date, you've got nothing to bargain with. There's also apps out there that you can use. One that my students use is called Test Shift. I'm sure that's what it's called, Test Shift. So you got a date, you type it in, what test center you want it at, what date you're looking at, and if the date comes up, they just shift it for you, done, sorted. And I think it's about a tenner that you pay for that service. I'll give an example. One of my students from the boot camp, she lives in Luton, and I'm sure she was Birmingham, and she took a date. She just literally took one in Birmingham and then used Test Shift to shift it into Luton, and she's got a test in October. That's when she wanted it for October. But I think she booked it for Birmingham in June, but it got changed before June. So that's what you want to be doing with that. Take what date they've got, at least that way you got a date, full stop. 10. Test dates are really, really hard to come by. So if you do get a date, like I said, just take it. Sandra, good morning to you. Congratulations on passing and being bowler. I hope I said that correct. 48, missed it by 2. Congratulations. Thank you for turning up and letting me know how you got on. Appreciate that. And the common answer is D. Congratulations on Par Wednesday. Congratulations on passing. I must have missed a comment there somewhere. I couldn't manage to pass. George has passed his test. All right, right, okay. And I think the D was the common answer, wasn't it? Speed humps, reduce traffic speed. Yeah, reduces speed. What's the legal minimum depth of a tread for car tires? I think I've done that one. Could you please explain the difference between single and dual carriageway and a motorway? Thank you in advance. Could you please explain the difference between a single and a dual carriageway and a motorway? In simple terms, dual carriageway, motorway is the same thing. Dual because it's got a crash barrier. The definition of a dual carriageway, the basic definition of a dual carriageway is a crash barrier in the middle. That's what a dual carriageway is. So you can't go on the wrong side of the road. And a single carriageway is where you can go on the other side of the road. That's the difference. The difference between a dual carriageway and a motorway, if they ask you on the theory test, it is the right-hand lane. For a motorway, you cannot turn right on the motorway. For a dual carriageway, you can turn right. I'll just say that again. The difference between a dual carriageway and a motorway, sorry, let's try again. The difference between a dual carriageway and a single carriageway is the crash barrier in the middle. So you cannot go on the wrong side on a dual carriageway. On a single carriageway, you can cross the white line in the middle. That's the difference between those two. The difference between the dual carriageway and a motorway is the right-hand lane. A right-hand lane for a motorway is just for overtaking. The right-hand lane for a dual carriageway is for overtaking and turning right. So hopefully that clears up for you. In hazard perception tests, I start to enjoy the roads and travel instead of focusing on hazards. Well, you know what your weakness is. Focus on hazards, not the view. And I think I've missed a comment on this one with Tina. I couldn't manage to pass my theory test. I got 42 in the mock test. I think I've missed a comment on that one. So let's look at the 11s. So I'm just trying to find the 11s. I'm assuming that's the first one. Oh, gone for a C there. I'm assuming that's wrong because the majority's gone for a B. Change your answer. Don't worry, I'll call that flagging because I've not revealed it. You are welcome. Right, so B was the common answer, 1.6. I will also add, they got car tires in this question. On the real question in the theory test, they can say cars, caravans, motorcycles, trailer tires. A tire is a tire. It's always going to be 1.6. It's a legal requirement. That's also a show me, tell me question for your driving test, by the way. Your car gets a puncture while you're driving on a motorway. What should you do when you've stopped on the hard shoulder? So what should you do? I've got no comments in there, so let's go back. Esther. Okay, you're welcome. Glad you're understanding, which is key. I've done that one. Done that one. I think I've done that one. But congratulations if I haven't, George. Esther's passed her fairy tale. Congratulations. 49 out of 50. Missed the magical 50 by 1, but congratulations, 63. I believe anything above 60 on has perception for the real test is brilliant. Under stress as well. Passing the first attempt, but let it expire. And this is what I was saying to you guys. Once you pass your theory test, you've got 2 years. With the waiting times, the way it is, 2 years seems like a long time. Before you know it, it runs out. So if you're not learning to drive at the same time as your theory test, once you pass your theory test, you really want to get on to do your driving lessons, because like I said, you don't know how long it's going to take you to learn. You may not pass on the first attempt on the driving test. So before you know it, 2 years can run out. You don't want to be doing this again in 2 years, because 2 years from now, it will be slightly harder. And I also will stress, sorry. So there you go. TV, pick the January date and shift it back. I picked August. Now I have my test in July 23rd. Brilliant. See, there you go. Like I said, whatever date, this is for your theory test as well, by the way. Whatever date's on the system, just take it. You can always go back and try to look for other dates and change it. And if you can't change it, you have a date. But the more you turn around and say, well, I don't want that date, I'll go back and keep checking, that date would now be gone. And then you're further down the line. Before you know it, for a driving test, you're now February, you're March, you're April. So take whatever they've got. At least you know you've got a date and you're working towards it. If you're ready, you can always try and change it. Should we read all the highway code book? No, don't. That's the highway code is for every rule for all road users, whether you walk, cycle, horse ride. Don't need to read the highway code. Do the app. You can always use the highway code to back up your knowledge on some individual questions, but I wouldn't be reading the highway code. That would put me to sleep if I did that. But again, you got to do you. Personally, I wouldn't read the highway code. That doesn't make sense to me, unless you're looking at the road signs. 12. My driving theory test on the 22nd of July, 14th, 21st, 2 weeks from now, give or take. So you've got a little bit of time, got a couple more Sundays, turn up live, ask your questions while you're studying, write those questions down that you're struggling with, bring it to the live session, let me answer it, send you in there on the 22nd, nice and confident. But good luck with it. Got your test tomorrow. I've got some of my students doing it tomorrow as well, so I wish you guys luck with that. LVH. While you're here, if you've got any questions, Q, semicolon, ask away. Let me send you in there tomorrow, nice and confident. Esther, you're welcome. What is road marble for? I'm going to say I don't know, because I've never heard that before, road marble. I'm going to say I don't know with that one. I'm never going to try and guess that. If you, I forgot what it's called now. It'll probably come back to me. I've gone blank. Tina's got a test. Hopefully we pass. I've revised, but nervous because it's tomorrow. So let me just start this. Come back to it. Nerves is a good thing. It's not a bad thing. Just don't let the nerves control you. That's what I always say to my students. You need the nerves, the adrenaline to keep you focused, but just don't let it stress you out that you can't think straight. So nerves is a good thing. It's not a bad thing. Trust me on that. Be calm, breathe, read the questions carefully, read the answers carefully. If you're not sure, flag it, move on. Those are, has perception is the one I'm more nervous about. I'm going to do a hazard perception towards the end, so I'll show you a tip of that. But maybe because it's easy for me, I'll be worried about the questions. And the reason why a hazard is a hazard, once you know what a hazard is, slow you down, change direction, blah, blah, blah. It's the same for all the videos. You just got to spot them. With the questions, you don't know what questions they're going to be asking. That's the difficult part. The hazard perception is the easier part, believe it or not, because you don't know what's coming. With the hazard perception, you know what's coming. Right, 12B is a common answer. Yeah, it's got, again, it's got the word emergency on there. So that's the one. What does this sign mean? Again, look at the image, take in the information and go from there. As I was saying, Richard, it's the same for everyone. The only thing I could suggest is keep checking different times of the day, morning, noon, and night. If you want to get up early in the morning, Monday morning, 6 o'clock is when they release the new dates, but everybody's doing that. So it may not work for you the first time out, but you may need to do 3 or 4 or 5 Mondays. So Monday morning, log on for about 5 to 6 on the government website. They release new dates and hopefully you can grab one. But it's the same for everyone. Cherry, you've asked me how do I pass my theory test this time because I failed it 2 times. I can't answer that because you not even told me what you're struggling with. Hazard perceptions, theory tests, what's the scores, how much you said you failed it 2 times. I can't give you a general answer to that. So I can't answer that over a live session without knowing you. This is really bugging me because I can't remember the name of the word now. And I do this every Tuesday. It's going to come back to me. I'm going to leave it there. It's going to come back to me. But I don't think you mean marble. There's another word for it. It's going to bug me when I'm doing this live now. Hannah, you're going the long way about it. They don't ask you in seconds. That's a long way. If it works, again, like I said, you've got to do what works for you, guys. Stopping distances, the only thing they want to know, doing 14 miles an hour or more. If it's dry, it's 2 seconds. If it's wet, it's 4 seconds or double. And ice and snow is up to 10 times. They don't do 20 seconds. It's up to 10 times longer. I'm going into a bit too much detail with the 20 seconds, but like I said, if it works for you, fine. But they don't ask about the 20 seconds. It's just up to 10 times longer. How, Athena, hi Doran, please, how do you flag a question? Please, can you show me? If you're using the 4-in-1 app, you got your 4 choices. It goes down in a list on the app. And then if you keep going down to the bottom, see my finger, keep going down to the bottom. On the bottom, there's a flag. You just press the flag and it lights up as red. And then you move on. Then when you finish your 50th question, it said you want to review the flagged ones. It takes you back to the flagged ones. And on the real test, it's the same thing. You keep going to the bottom and there's a flag. You flag it and you move on. I can't show you because I'm not using the app. I'm using a desktop version. It doesn't allow. I'm doing a 20 question mock test either as well. So it's not the same as a 50 question mock test. Where on the 50 question, you can flag it. But on this one, I can't. As a 20 question. But yeah, just keep going to the bottom. You can't miss it. Oh, right. I remember what it is. Sorry, let me just, before I go blank again. I'm not sure if you're talking about marble, but it's tactile paving is what they're talking about. What is tactile paving? Who's it for? It's for blind and visually impaired. Tactile, and they find it at crossings, by the way. So they're for blind people or visually impaired, if that's what you're talking about. But I've never heard road marble, but tactile paving is what it's called. And you would think I teach this every week, and I can't remember what it's called. So let me just catch up with the bees. Yeah, LVH, you did put tunnel. I know what you meant. All right, it's like, let's just give more credit to you guys. Wow, you don't keep typing. 115 people, wow. I appreciate you guys being here. I'm going to stop it there because otherwise we're going to go on all day with all these bees. Yeah, it's tunnel ahead. Triangles are warnings. It's warning you of a tunnel ahead. What should you do before going to a tunnel? Another question. Turn on your lights. Right, a lot of words. You're driving in the right-hand lane of a dual carriageway. What should you do if you see a sign showing that the right-hand lane is closed 800 yards ahead? Again, look at the info and then go to your options. Yes, you're correct. People get early dates on the theory test, but struggle to get earlier on practical. The reason why with the theory test, because if someone is not ready, they will either cancel and get their money back or just not turn up. With a driving test, people are going for driving test who are not ready for the driving test. So because the waiting time is long, what they do is book a driving test. Before all of this happened, before COVID, I'll tell you how it used to work. You book a driving test. So you pass the theory test and you book a driving test. That's how it worked. So if I'm the instructor, I'll book your driving test for you. That's how I used to do it with my students. So we'll say you're doing 2 hours a week. It's going to take you X amount of time to be ready. So let's say it was 2 months. We aim for 2 months. We book a driving test. For whatever reason, that person wasn't ready. We push the test date back and go again and push it back until they was ready. With the waiting time now, if you get a test date, you know you're struggling to get a test date. No one wants to push their test back. They go. And what they say is, I want to go and have a go of the test. So people are going for a test who's nowhere near ready. That's the reason why you can't get earlier dates, because no one's willing to give it up. Now, instructors will not, well, I say the better and decent instructors won't take a student who's not ready. I won't take a student who's not ready because our job's on the line. I got a badge in my car and every test is logged against my badge. So if my student's not ready and they book their own test and they turn around and say, want to take it, I can't stop them from taking it, but they're not taking it in my car. Because like I said, if a student is not ready for a test and they go that the examiner's going to mark it against my badge and they're going to be asking me questions, why am I taking somebody who was not obviously ready for a test? And that's how it works. Now, there's some instructors which charge you an arm and a leg to still take you, even though you're not ready. And what they do is they take their badge out of the car. Now you got to ask them, you got to ask yourself the quality of that instructor. If they're not confident in you that they've got to take the badge out of their car so it doesn't go against them, then as far as I'm concerned, 1, you shouldn't be there, 2, they shouldn't be teaching. But I will never take my badge out of the car because any pupils I take the test, I'm confident that they should pass. Did they all pass? No. But I'm confident they should take it. That's the reason why. That's the situation we're in. Not to mention you got those scammers buying the test up and selling them on. That's the other reason why it is the way it is at the moment. And it's going to be a while before we go back to where it was before COVID, if we ever get back to that situation. I remember that because I've been teaching for 30 years. I remember the days, there's a B in there, Tina, where you can literally fail a test today and get a test tomorrow. That's how it was back in the day. But now you fail a test today and you're waiting about 6 months before you can get another one. Damola, good morning to you. Yes, you are live. Right, 14D is the common answer. Move to the left in good time. Yeah, again, there's 2 similar ones here. Move to the left immediately. This one says there's no safety checks because you're doing it immediately. And this one says move to the left in good time. In other words, when it's safe to do so. That's the reason why Swiss want to not move to the left immediately. You're looking for somewhere to park at night. When may you park on the right-hand side of the road? Yeah, backlog is a reason. As I said, you've got students who book a test who are not ready. They don't want to give it up. And then you've got the scam. The main reason why for the backlog is the scammers. Since COVID, they bought the test dates up, or they're still buying them up, and then selling them for the average price for a test from the scammers is £250. So £250. Where I've had pupils pay £250 because they were desperate for a test because they needed it for their job or move on, career prospects, blah blah blah, and they've done that. But like I said, not everybody can afford £250 for it. Now, if those guys stop doing that, then test dates will become more available. Where can I find an emergency telephone on the road when your car's broken down? The emergency telephone, where can you find one? That's a weird question. The emergency telephones on the motorway. They're called SOS phones. They're on the motorway. The questions that go with that, they're a mile apart. What's the furthest you're going to walk to a phone? There's lots of questions for the emergency phone. But you find them on the motorway. That's where you find them. And they're a mile apart. And the furthest you're going to walk to one is half a mile. Charmaine, how long after completing a 5-day boot camp should you consider booking a theory test? You should book it while you're taking the boot camp. Once the boot camp finishes, go straight for the test. That's what it's for. It's designed to, like I said, I've got students taking the test. Like I said, I've got my students this week. The test is on the 11th, 5 p.m. So I've got 9 students this week, and 5 of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are taking the test on the 11th, which is a Friday. So they're doing it in 4 days rather than the 5 days. That's the ones who's doing intensive driving courses, by the way. The one that's coming from YouTube, the others aren't taking their test just yet. But to answer your question, you should be looking to take it straight afterwards while the knowledge is fresh. That's the whole point of doing the boot camp. You do it, knowledge, get it, take it, pass it, move on. But again, take it when you feel ready. Engine braking is driving in low gear. Yeah, if you're doing the manual, first or second gear is what engine braking is. Correct. Kazim, passed my first test Monday, 4650, 63. Well done. Congratulations on passing, Kazim. Thank you and appreciate it, because I've not seen your name before, so you must have been a silent watcher. Thank you for breaking the silence and come and let me know. Tina, let me come back to that. Let me just catch up with the 15s. LVH, I just saw your question. I just started. I will come back to it. Aman, you've gone for a D. I changed it. Common answers B. Congratulations on passing. Appreciate that. Come and let me know. No, the DVSA is trying all sorts of things. They keep emailing us to put some ideas forward, but it's like scammers with banks. You put security software in their way, and they find another way around it. So yeah, it's all about the scammers, unfortunately for you guys. One way straight, yeah, park up on the right. Because all the cars are going the same direction, you can park left or right. Because you should always park up on the left where possible. What does this sign mean? Triangles. Again, there's a clue in there. Right, sorry, Tina. What to expect on a real theory test? 57 minutes for the theory, multiple questions, and has a perception. 57 minutes just for the questions. Not has perception. Has perception is different. Two separate tests. So you got 57 minutes to do the questions. If you studied, you're going to do it well under 57 minutes. I always say to my students, if you've got to take 57 minutes to pass it, then take 57 minutes rather than 15 minutes and fail it. So 57 is going to be more than enough time. And then once you've done that, you've got a 3-minute break, not to get up and walk around and chill. Literally just wait 3 minutes to calm down, just switch off mentally from questions to your has perception. And then once your has perception starts, it runs and runs and runs. There's nothing you can do about that because you can't replay the video. So the has perception is separate. So 57 minutes is more than enough time for you. So on every question, I have to think safety. Yeah, you've got to think safety. The theory test is about safety. The driving test is about safety and control, is what the examiner looks for. So if your answer doesn't lead to safety, it's going to lead to a controlled outcome or a controlled answer with that one. If your answer doesn't lead to safety, then it's going to be wrong, full stop. And you got the word safety in your question. On some of the answers, it will have the word safe, safety, safely, or safer with the new ADAS questions. If it's got those words in the answer, you have to shortlist as a possible. I'm not saying it's always going to work, but if it's got those words in it, you have to shortlist and think, is this the correct answer with that? So don't ignore the word safety. If another one comes up in the next 3 or 4, I'll show you what I'm talking about. What are we on? 16. Terry, you thought 17, unless you got a crystal ball, but I pretty much you mean 16.
I didn't catch that. Could you try again?
Series kicked in.
Sorry, I couldn't skip this.
That's a 15, then I've done that. How long does it take to pass? To pass what? Is there time? You're asking me a question that you're not putting no context to. How much? Sorry, where was the other question? How long does it take to pass? Is there a time limit? To what? The theory test, the driving test, has perception. Right, A seems to be the common answer. Two-way traffic straight ahead. Again, clues in the answer. Let me just quickly show you. Look at the image. And if you're going up, two-way traffic straight ahead, you always should be looking from bottom to top when you're doing images. So you always imagine you're going from bottom to top. So if you're going up with the arrow, it says two-way traffic straight ahead, there's traffic coming towards you. That's why the clue's there. What does this white arrow on the road mean? Damalola. So happy to be here again. Again, you got 8 questions wrong. Again, you got data now. Look at the categories you got the questions wrong in, restudy those, and then go from there. Has perception's fine. Not got a problem with that. Yeah, just what you want to do is just literally look at the data that they've given you in terms of the categories you got questions wrong. You booked yours in the morning. Don't know if it was a mistake, but I prefer do it in the morning. are you a morning person? Is the question you got to ask yourself. If you, I tell my, like I got my students this week, like I said, they're doing it on the Friday the 11th. The only reason why we do it at 5 o'clock is because they got the driving in the morning. So they drive from 9 till 1:30, and that gives them time to break, go home, chill for a bit, and then go for their theory test at 5 o'clock. So they're a little bit more fresh. Obviously, you guys ain't doing an intensive driving course, so you can book your theory test at any time. So if you're a morning person, I would do your test in the morning if it's possible. If you're not a morning person, try to avoid the morning because obviously your brain doesn't work up. If I was doing my theory test, I'm definitely doing it first thing in the morning because I'm a morning person. I love to get up early, do what I got to do. Come late evening, my brain starts to shut down. So me doing it at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock wouldn't work for me. But if you're a morning person, you're fine. If you're not a morning person, I would probably your test is tomorrow though, isn't it? So you haven't even got time to acclimatize. I'll say try to get up 2 to 3 days before the test. But you're tomorrow, so you can't do that. Yeah, just what I would suggest as well with that, I wouldn't. Sorry, let me just get 17s first while I'm talking. I would not. If you're not a morning person, don't start drinking coffee, Red Bull, because the people say, yeah, drink that, keep you awake. That will mess you right up. So always, again, this is for your driving test and your theory test. Do not change your lifestyle. So if you aren't a morning person, don't start drinking coffee, eating a lot of food if you don't have breakfast. Do what you normally do, because once you change your body chemistry, it's going to mess up you full stop, because your body adrenaline and your body chemistry will not be working together as it normally does. So that's my advice to you, especially for your driving lessons, driving tests, sorry. I sometimes had pupils have breakfast in the morning. They don't normally have breakfast. Why? If you don't normally have breakfast, then don't start eating stuff. There's a lot of mixture of answers on this. I've got B's, A's, and C's on this. Tina, you're welcome. Yogesh, you just joined the channel. Welcome to the live session. Yeah, if you're a morning person, LVH, you're laughing. Just do what you normally do. Right, sorry, I need to read it. You'd be surprised how many people don't drink it that I've had over the years, don't drink it. And I've told them on preparation for a driving test, because we always talk about the driving test and what to do the night before. And they listen to their friends. Their friends said, drink this, drink that, blah, blah, blah. And I've turned up and you can see they're hyper. So yeah, as much as you don't drink it, you may get advice from people and say, yeah, because it's worked for them, it doesn't mean it's going to work for you. Just do what you normally do. Do not change your routine. And what I mean, your test is tomorrow. Don't go to bed early. If you normally go to bed 10 o'clock, don't go to bed at 8, for example. I know it's extreme, but don't go to bed at 8. Your body's going to wake up tired because it's used to X amount of hours of sleep. If you're going to give it Y amount, which is more, it's going to wake up tired and your brain's going to be all over the place. So do what you normally do. Road bends to the left. Return to your side of the road. The answer is return to your side of the road. Some of you have got road bends to the left. If you look at the image, it bends to the right. So it can't be that. And some of you have gone for D, entrance on the, there is an entrance to the left, but it's not that. Basically what they're saying is you can overtake, but once you overtake, get back to the left when safe to do so. What's most likely to increase fuel consumption? But you're watching the stream, that's fine. If you are normally a coffee drinker, I'm not saying don't drink coffee or drinking Red Bull. What I'm saying to you is, if you don't normally drink it, then don't start doing it. If your body's used to having caffeine inside it, then fine. As long as you don't go over the top. If you're 2 coffees in the morning before you get going, still drink 2 coffees, but don't go for 3 or 4. Basically, just don't change your routine. It's keeping it simple. I missed it. Where are you? booked it first day I could after I finished my first year of sixth form. So here you go. Look, it's sixth form. This is one of the guys who's booking up the driving instructors. As I said, sixth formers, college students finishing up for the year are looking to take their driving lessons, pass their driving test during the summer before they go off onto uni. And this is a prime example. I'm not knocking you. You're right to do that. And I agree with you guys. Once your sixth form's finished, you've done your exams, a little bit of freedom, bit of time. Yeah, get your driver license out of the way before you go off and do whatever it is, because life gets in the way after a while. Like with my son, when he finished school, I literally got him to do his driving test before he went off to uni. And he's driving around for a living now and doing his bits and pieces. So having his license nice and early got him the options that he's got in terms of job prospects. So yeah, that's what I recommend with the youngsters. 18. But again, what I would suggest, again, I've got B's and C's in there. If you're looking to take driving lessons shortly after you've passed the theory test, or looking to take driving lessons in the next few weeks, I would look for a driving instructor now and reserve them. I wouldn't wait till you're ready, because like I said, they're going to be booked up. Because literally, for me personally, I've taken the week off because literally I've been working back to back. Plus I got builders in. Hi everyone in the chat, welcome. Sorry, I'm still doing this. So I took a week off to get a break, and I'm working right through until September, when I go back next week. And I'm trying to take another break at the end of September, because doing it back to back to back to back is long, especially with the way weather is at the moment. So I would reserve your instructors. So like I said, I'm literally booked up. I'm trying to take a week off at the end of August, because I've got a lot of driving tests. So I'm committed to that. Take a week off, and then that's literally me right up to December. I have my diaries looking at the moment. Right, so we're looking at C. Yeah, harsh braking, heavy acceleration is going to burn more fuel. What does this sign mean? Again, look at the image. There's a clue there. Thank you for the kind words. Appreciate that. Can I join the boot camp even though I live in Birmingham? Do I need to attend personally, or is it online? My test is in September. Your test is in September, July, August. September's 2 months away, give or take. Yeah, Birmingham doesn't make sense where you live. It's live on Zoom for 2 hours a day, 5 days a week. Ideally, when I attend personally, it's between 4:30 and 6:30 p.m. If you can't attend, it's fine, because you've got access to the recordings and plus the other training material. But ideally, when I attend personally, because I find that most, again, this is their comments, words, that by attending personally, they are with like-minded students, and you can ask any questions as we're going through it. Whereas when it's recorded, you're just watching the recording, but you can ask the questions by sending in emails, because you've got email support as well. So you can join, and you've got access until you pass. So if you join, for example, for next week, you've got access until you pass anyway, so it's irrelevant when you join. And if you failed after September, you still got access, because it's literally until you pass. So we support you until you get that pass certificate. You don't. That's the reason why. Because when you go, again, it's different questions. So that's how it used to be when it first came out. I think the first is about 25 years old, give or take. When it first came out, they used to print the questions, the proper questions, in books and on CDs. And what happened, what they found is that people went and memorized the questions. And when they failed the test, they looked at the questions they got wrong, memorized it. When they went in, they failed again because the questions are different. So what they now do is give you the categories of the questions you failed in. So you go and restudy the category. And that way, if any other questions come up in that category, you don't make the same mistake. So to answer your question, you don't know what questions you failed on, but you do know what category you failed that question on. Because when they did it before, the failure rate was high, extremely. Alexa, hazard, please. How do I click? I'm going to do a hazard perception in 2 questions time. All right, let me get back to the questions. But Alexa, I'll do a question hazard perception in a minute. While we on 19. No, I'm not on TikTok. I just ain't got the time, literally, to be on those platforms. Right, C is a common answer. Crossroads, yeah, the clue, Crossroads. And the last one, what could you do to reduce the volume of traffic on the roads? What could you do to reduce the volume of traffic on the roads? Congratulations. Is that Evil Boss as your title? Thank you for coming and let me know that you've passed. Again, Salam, congratulations on passing. Again, I appreciate you coming to let me know that you've done that. That's fine. Like I said, that works for you. I don't know about like I said, that was me. I wouldn't want to take it in the afternoon. But again, you got to do what you can do. You got 30. You said you like to be in the building 30 minutes before. I mentioned this earlier on. If you are there early, you can go in and say, I'm here for my test. If they've got space, they will get you in rather than you staying outside for 30 minutes and stressing out. You got to be there 15 minutes beforehand anyway. So this for all of you. If you do turn up early for whatever reason, just go in and see if you can take the test earlier. You've done the work. It sounds like you've done the work. All you got to do now is go in tomorrow and nail it. That's all you got to do. And I got my fingers crossed for you. Just come back next week and tell us the good news. Is there a preferred filter? No. A test is test. It's random. So the driving test centers are different, but there's not a preferred test center. Especially if I turn around and said to you, we use I work in North London where I teach, and they use North Finchley. So if I said to you, yeah, I prefer recommend North Finchley, North London, and you live in Manchester, that's not going to work for you. A test center is a test center. It's irrelevant. It's about the test paper itself when it comes out. And like I said, it's random. So you don't know what paper you're going to get. So it doesn't make a difference where you take it. The only way it will come down to is staff, whether they're decent, rude, that type of thing. But that's where you go anywhere in shops, in life, in society. But yeah, it doesn't really matter where you take it. It comes down to knowledge anyway. 20 was the last one, wasn't it? What is the first one? All C's. Right. Yeah, walk or cycle, less congestion, especially if it's local. Right. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is probably one of the shortest categories we've done in recent times. I keep saying study the categories individually because it's structured, so you fully understand it, and then you're also exposed to all the question. So this is what I'm talking about. You've got motorway rules 2, incident accident emergency 1, hazard awareness 2, rules of the road 4, safety in your vehicle 6. That's a lot for a 20 question mock test. Alertness 1, road and traffic signs 4. So if I was weak on safety and your vehicle, for example, and I got 6 wrong, I'm now down to 44 out of 50. And that's the reason why you don't know how your test is going to be broken down, whether it's going to be similar to this. One thing I would suggest in the 50 question mock test, you will get a question from all of the categories, so all 14 you will do. That's fact. It's just a case of how it's going to be structured, your 50 questions. And someone asked me, I can't remember who it was, have I got a preferred test center? No, because it doesn't make a difference where you go. It's going to be the 50 questions regardless. And it's not about the test center that's going to help make you pass or fail. It's going to be down to whether you know your knowledge or not. So that's the reason why you should study all categories where possible. So hopefully that makes some sense. Right, I just want to catch up with these comments that I've starred. Let me do the hazard perception. Yeah, like I said, Red Bull and coffee is not for everyone. Like I said, if you drink it, fine. Just don't go over the top on the day of your theory test and driving test. But if you don't listen to anyone. Trust me, it will mess you up. It's not driving instructors. Some driving instructors, don't get me wrong, and the DVSA are clamping down on that. If a driving instructor gets caught doing that, they lose their license, which means we can't teach. So it's not always driving instructors doing that. It's mostly Joe Blogs is doing that because they're making the money out of it. It's not driving instructors. So don't blame us for that. It's literally Joe Public's doing that. Jamie, it took me 3 months to get a driving instructor. I messaged about 10 people originally. Yeah, like I said, there's a shortage of driving instructors anyway. And the other problem with that as well, we can't clear our books because we can't get test dates. So we got people staying with us. Normally you get a people in, we know roughly 3-4 months they're going to be gone. But at the moment, because they can't get test dates, they're sticking around taking driving lessons, even if it's one every other week. So like I said, we can't get rid of them like we could do before. In my case, I do intensive courses, so I get different people every week. But when their driving test comes closer, they start to book up lessons again with me. And literally starting, even though I'm off this week, I've got to cover a driving test on Thursday. She's got some lessons booked for tomorrow, and this is on my week off. And she's got a test on Thursday. And starting from tomorrow, Thursday, when her test is due, I've got literally tests virtually almost every week until end of August. So that's how busy I'm going to be. In terms of doing the boot camp, I've got to rethink if I can hit 4:30 every time. But yeah, just my problem at the moment. Yeah, but like I said, if you can reserve your instructor, do it as soon as possible. Yeah, again, that's where you want to be breaking it down. Read the questions very carefully, look for the little clues in between the questions and answers as well. That can help. Brilliant that you've passed it. Again, thank you. Appreciate that you've come back to the live to let me know that you've nailed it. Sorry, Jim, I can't help with that. What's the road sign where it looks like a crossroads? Oh, that's T junction. I struggled there because, like I said, I'm visual. I need to see it, but that's T junction is what you're talking about. VAS came up last week. I've not heard anything about that, and I can't see how they can reinforce that because obviously people have learning disabilities, and on average, it takes 3.5 attempts to pass the theory test. I don't see how that's enforceable. I've not heard anything, so I got to say, and I'm licensed. So normally, if they're going to do any changes whatsoever, they warn us first and let us know. So I've not heard anything, and I can't see how they can enforce that, by the way. So I'm going to say that's rubbish at the moment. Yeah, I know what you meant. Driving test you can take as many times as you want. But the theory test, I can't say they can limit that to 3 times, considering people got learning disabilities. And their stats says it's 3.5 times to take a theory test, to pass the theory test. Join the boot camp. Charmaine, I'll look out for your name in there when you join the boot camp. 8th of August. That gives you literally 4 weeks come Tuesday, which is more than enough time. Once you sign to the boot camp, you got direct access to all the training material before your boot camp session starts. So you can literally go in there and start to study straight away. And you got access to email support, so you can send emails in straight away and get your questions answered. Yeah, like I said, this time of year, you've got your 17, 18-year-olds looking to drive, which I'm not knocking it. I think it's a good thing. Like my son learned to drive literally once he got his driver license, but he had the luxury of having 3 lessons from his dad. Alexa Shorts, you are Alexa. Am I missing something here? Alexa, I think she was the one that asked me about TikTok. I must be missing something there. What do you do, Alexa? All right, let me just pick up on these comments. Alexa's asking for has a perception, which I'm going to do. All right, I'll miss on this one. Let me just pick up on these comments quickly. No problem, you're welcome. For a test on Thursday, so hopefully next Sunday come back. Adavin, hopefully, yes, good news. Alexa, hopefully I'm going to help you in a minute. I'm assuming you mean about the block bookings, what you said before. Trust me, it's not instructors. I'm not saying there's no instructors doing this, 1 or 2 doing it, but if they get caught, they will get lose their jobs, basically, lose a license. But the majority are Joe Blogs doing it. Because they're advertising on Facebook and everything, so you can actually go on Facebook and use their apps as well. I said, congratulations on passing. Rectangle signs, especially about the motorway. Can't do that now. It's more to do with diagrams. Rectangle signs. Motorway signs are blue. The only simple way I can do that is blue circles are mandatory. Blue circles are mandatory. Red circles are orders. Triangles are warnings. That's the common signs. If it's a square sign, it's source of information. And blue signs are normally motorway signs. Green signs are dual carriageway signs. In simple form, for me to teach you the signs, I need diagrams, and I'm not set up for that. But I will say that's in the bootcamp. Alexa, I'm coming. Right, that's the last one. Right, so let me get my iPad out. So before I do that, what I've been doing is showing you why you need to understand the theory, because let's get rid of this. The theory test, let's get rid of that. I'll use this on Thursday. The theory test is box 17, traffic signs, which is here. Oh, you can't see. Let me go to this one. Show your iPad. See your screen. Road and traffic signs. Here, got 4. Road markings will come under road and traffic signs. Traffic lights, traffic controllers, and other road users. There's your theory test right there. There was a question about roundabouts. How should you signal to go straight at roundabouts? If you look at box 15, signals necessary, correctly timed. As I said, some of you guys, what you're doing is studying the theory test to just pass it so you can move on to your driving. What you need to do is be studying to understand it, because if you study to understand it, you're going to pass the theory test anyway, and the knowledge is going to be stronger when you take your driving lessons, because you're going to use it on your driving lesson. The last thing you want to do is spend 5 minutes, 10 minutes at the roadside discussing stuff about the theory that you already passed. That's wasting driving time. So, especially for Alexa. So let me just clear this. Hazard perception is box 14. Use of mirrors before you signal, change the direction, change the speed. There's your hazard perception. So a hazard is anything that's going to cause you to slow down or change direction. Because if you're slowing down, you need to check your main mirror. If you change the direction, it's your main mirror plus the equivalent wing mirror. That's what that click is. They're trying to say if you see the problem early, your 5 and your 4s, then you should be able to check your mirrors and stay calm on your driving test because you've seen the problem early. If you see the problem late, the first thing you're going to do is go for the brake. You're not going to go for the mirror. The brain's designed to protect you. It's going to protect you by going for the brake and not checking the mirror. So that's what they're trying to teach you, is to use your mirrors nice and early. So now we understand what a hazard is, anything to cause you to slow down or change direction. You now need to click twice. Let me come out of this, go full screen. So there's a problem on screen. You see the problem, you click twice. You click once and you go 1, 2, and you click again. The reason why, if you click too early, the first click's too early, that's a 0. You can see the problem all day long. If you're getting nothing for it, it's pointless in seeing it. You have to get scores. Treat it like a game. So if the first click's too early, the second click should land in the 5 or the 4. If the first click landed in the 5 or the 4, the second click will land in the 3 or the 2. It means you're going to get a score and you get the highest mark. They're not going to downgrade you. So if you got 5 on the first one, 3 on the second one, they're not going to give you a 3. So there's no benefits in clicking once. Lots of benefits in clicking twice. But if you have to go for 3 clicks to make sure you get a score, then go for 3 clicks as well. So I'll do a demonstration now. Let me just get the app up. iPad's really slow. I can claim something there, but let's take a look at it later on. As a perception, practice video clips. I'll do a real life clip first. Let's see if there's any new ones that I've not seen. We've got stars on them. Oh, there's a few here. 62. So can you guys see that? Real life 62. There's no stars on that. So I've not seen it. I've not done it. So let me practice that. See, it's even downloading. So I've not seen it. So I'm not cheating. So we're doing it together for the first time. So traffic lights slowing down. So when you're driving, you should always be scanning from left to right, right to left. The reason being road signs on the pavement. So I'm scanning well ahead of the white Range Rover. I can't see no problems. Cars coming out to my left. Cars parked up on my left, so I'm clicking for that. Ooh, children's run out. So that should be the problem. That's what caused me to slow down. Again, keep scanning because it could be your double. There's a road sign there. I can't see what it says. 40 miles an hour. Again, keep scanning from pavement to pavement. Pedestrian. No, it's not. Just a wall. 5 out of 5. I thought that's all the kids like. All right, so let me just quickly show you no cheating. 5 out of 5. Review it back. Always review your hazards back so you see how you can improve if improvements needed. So you can see my 2 flags every time. And let me just show you something quickly. So I saw a car coming out the side road. There's my flag for the first flag for the car to the left. Here's my second. And there's cars parked up on the left. So I clicked again. Different situation. because I have to move to the left. I can't be, when you're driving, you should be a meter from the curb. If the car's parked up, I can't be a meter from the curb. So I'm clicking to move away from the curb. That's the reason why. And there's the school children or kids. I don't want to say called school children. So there's where they popped into view. And this is where I clicked, literally on the 5/4. And there's my second click. Got the highest score possible. And that's the reason why you click twice, just to make sure you register a score. So see a problem, anything that's going to call you to slow down or change direction is what you want to be clicking on. All right, let me just check on you guys, see what you guys are saying. Alexa, let me know if that's helped you. Yeah, double clicks. Everyone think click once. I've even had a couple of emails. There was one comment I read on the YouTube channel. They watched the Has Perception video that I did and said I was told that I can't click that many times. It doesn't seem right, blah, blah, blah. Will it really work on the real clip? They went for the test and failed it. That's because they didn't take the advice. Whoever told them. And I don't understand how they listen to their friends, but someone who does this for a living, who teaches it for a living, didn't want to take my advice when I filmed it. Even though the video showed me clicking 2 times, didn't get a 0. They clicked once, and I think they got 34 out of 40, 34 out of 75. Take the advice, go for 2 clicks. Trust me. You're not going to, if you click on things that exist, let me just clarify this as well. If you click on things that exist, it will not be too many clicks. If you click on random stuff that doesn't exist, as in stuff that's never going to cause you to slow down, that's not even there, then yes, it's going to add up because it's random. So take my advice, do the 2 clicks. And also, you're practicing at home. If it works for you at home, it's going to work for you on a real test. I say it's helped to. I'll do another one in a minute. Right, if there's any questions about this, type it in before we sign off. Right, let me go back to the iPads. I think there was another one with no stars as well. Right, looks. Oh, it's got some here with 10 stars. I've seen this before. All right, let's do 69, double hazard. And both of those have got 10 stars. So again, not seen it before. We're doing it together live. So this could go badly wrong. But like I said, you learn from mistakes. Right, so again, scanning the road ahead. Can't see nothing going on. Car parked up on the pavement. So I've got to move to the right. That's what I'm clicking. Cars coming out. I can hear rain in my ears. I think it's pouring down the rain outside. It's putting me off. Sound like a thunderstorm. Oh, that's late. But I think I really messed up on this. I got my excuses. The rain is really coming down outside. Yeah, 5 out of 10. Which is fine. Like I said, you're practicing at home, which is the main thing. So you can always improve. Oh, so I actually got a score on this one, but it was late. That looks like a 3 on that one. Which means I got 2 on this one. So I did get a score on, so I thought this was a 0. Yeah, well late. But again, there you go, practice. But like I said, in my excuse, there's thunderstorms outside. In my excuse is, like I said, I can hear the rain in my headphones. They put me off. But like I said, anyway, that's your double. But like I said, you're perfecting your skill at home. So if this was me now studying, I would do this test again, not straight away. I would do it again to improve on my hazards. So I repeat, you're looking for anything that's going to cause you to, sorry, it's really doing my head in because I can hear it. You can do practice at home and you're practicing the skills. There's nothing wrong with reviewing it back like I just did and then going again, but don't do it straight afterwards because obviously you know where it is. Let it settle, let it digest an hour, maybe 2 hours later, maybe even the next day to see if you're still on it. And that's the way the hazard perception works. But remember, you're perfecting your art. That's what you're trying to do. So trial and error. You're always looking to improve. And it's the same thing with your 50-question mock test. If you're failing the mock test, it's not the end of the world. You're better off failing your mock test at home, learning from it, improving on it to go and pass the real test. It's no point trying to get a 50 out of 50, learning nothing at home because you can always get it right, getting complacent, and then go for the real test and fail. You learn more from your character by messing up, getting frustrated, and how you deal with it. That's how you want to be looking at it. Developing hazards look like a hazard. Yes, they're developing. There's 2 types of hazards on the video. There's potential. It could have been a problem. He's still going to click. And there's the developing one, which actually causes you to slow down, say developed, and that's why you're slowing down. That's how you want to look at it. So again, while you're driving, while you're watching the video, just ask yourself, is it going to cause me to slow down? Is it going to cause me to change direction? The answer is yes, click. How do you register for the boot camp? It's in the description of this video. Once YouTube does what it's got to do in terms of when I click off of this, it'll upload it. Go in the description. The link is in the description. Or you can jump on Instagram. It's on Instagram. And the website. Hannah, I wish you luck with that. Lydia, you're welcome. Sleek, Sylvia, 42 out of 50. So you got 8 questions wrong. In my first attempt, had 46, 64, 64. So you even improved on hazard perception the second time round after 1 week. Like, yeah, after 1 week, because you were close to passing it. I hate saying you only needed 1 to pass. That's not the way to look at it. You got 8 questions wrong. But you look at the information that they're giving you, the categories, and go again. It's not a problem. So you've nailed it the second time round. So well done to you. Alexa, you're welcome. Hopefully practice, Alexa. So hopefully that helps you improve and gives you the confidence with hazard perception. No problem. Cherry, again, you're welcome. Charmaine. See you next week. Okay, that was the last one. So, again, for those of you who got your theory test this week, I wish you good, especially for tomorrow. I wish you good luck with that. For the rest of you that's studying, and remember, while you're studying, don't be afraid to write down any questions. Bring it to the live next week and ask away. So let me send you in there with lots of confidence. And most importantly, stay safe, especially if you're going out today, because like I said, I've got thunderstorms outside my door at the moment. But yeah, stay safe, have a safe week, and I shall catch you next week. Take care.